without a shadow of a doubt. The Cronkite Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Nubian Queen Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. And I think these Democrats trying to send us back to slavery. We're gonna talk about it tonight. Y'all get a seatbelt, cause we're gonna take you on a wild ride, man. I want to welcome each and every one of you to another episode of the War Zone. We in the building. My co-host Donovan Sadiq, Demetra K, and like we were talking before we came on air. Today has been a somber day. You know, I really couldn't do much today. I'm just mentally, I'm not there today, and it has a lot to do with the things that are going on. And you know me, I think outside the box. I started thinking about everything. See, because everything ain't the white man. Everything ain't the Republicans. I started thinking with the Congressional Black Caucus slow poking to say anything about Ahmaud, with the NAACPs not raising hell. I just started thinking, man, are these people trying to send us back to slavery? The Democrats, the black folk in charge. Demetra K, talk to us.
Well, so the question at hand is, are the Democrats trying to send us back to slavery? I think send us back would denote that we were somehow not in slavery. Now, physically, we're still not in slavery, but mentally, we're in slavery. And I would venture to say that Black people depend on the Democratic Party the most when it comes to things like socialism. And so anytime you're not able to fend for yourself, I think you are in some ways a slave already. And so now I believe you're probably talking about the actual plantation, swing low, sweet chariot, that type of slavery. You know, we used to joke about this a couple years back, but now I see it being more of a reality. I talk about it in this manner. Imagine you guys ever, and I know Donovan, you've heard the analogy of the frog in the pot, right? So you put a frog in a pot of water, and before you turn on, obviously the water's nice and cool. Then slowly you turn that water up. And the frog says, well, you know, it's getting a little warm, but I'm okay. I'm good. Turn up a little more, it's getting hotter. And the frog's like, okay, it's getting hot, but I'm okay. And pretty soon, as the water keeps getting hotter and hotter, what happens to the frog? It boils to death. And that's what we are as Black people. We are so comfortable and complacent in what's going on with us. But we don't understand that we are really just that frog in a pot. So I don't think it's far-fetched that we would be back in shackles. I don't think that's something that's hard to, for me, it's not. I don't think it's hard to fathom because we are not really, and I say we, I'm talking about Black people collectively, we're not really aware of the totality of things that are going to go on and affect us as Black people, especially with this coronavirus situation, to which my daughter was at the White House, and he says that 3,000 people a day are going to die. 3,000 people a day are going to die up until in June, because a lot of states have began to relax their stipulations and their stay-at-home orders. And so they're saying it's going to get worse. Now, people dying, that's horrible. But imagine what's going to happen to us as Black people. We're seeing a lot of fallout from the jobs. I mean, a lot of corporations. I think the Scoop Plantation went belly up. For those of you guys who are familiar with the Scoop Plantation, Neiman Marcus is filed bankruptcy. And a whole host of other people and stores are just, are going belly up. And so the question really should be is what's going to be left for Black people when this is all over? And is slavery going to be the next option for us? Not that we want it, but are we going to even have a choice in the matter?
Donovan?
I'm going to have to go the other side of that argument. 50, 60 years of voting Democratic, and we are now less than 12 years away from zero wealth. To have zero wealth, you're, by definition, you're a slave. You're a problem. So, I mean, this young black man behind me just got murdered, and the Black Caucus sometime last night, made a quick paragraph statement, and it was a blanket statement. So I don't even know if these people are even looking out for us, and they're getting their butter biscuits and it's, extra butter on it or something. But with the way the policies are and the way that we are being represented, I just have to go by the facts, as that's where they're leading us, back to the plantation.
The question is who's the massa? They want us to believe that it's the white Republican. But the supposedly in charge Negro. Why would it take the Black Caucus that long to make a statement? And then make a BS statement to me? Is that one you already copied and pasted? You could copy and paste that one. Well, you should be able to with all the murders that we've incurred. You could do a good copy and paste job on a statement. But I'm trying to really understand who's the massa. Is it the white Republican or is it the Black Democrat? And we're enslaved in so many different ways, man. I mean, with a lack of education, you gonna end up with a slave mentality. Your finances are in disarray. Your old money here and there, them credit cards eating you up. You're enslaved through your finances. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting here today, and it's just, I have days like this when it bugs me to death to watch the moves that we make. And I did a video last night, and I talked about Ahmaud. And I said, well, them two white guys pulled the trigger, but we killed Ahmaud. We killed Ahmaud when we ain't do nothing about Sandra Bland. When we ain't do nothing about Eric Garner. Y'all did the same thing for all those black people that died. You protest for a couple, and that was it. That was it. And then that's the end of that. So what we gonna do different this time? Everybody, oh, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. No, you're not. Because if you were actually tired of it, you do something about it. It doesn't have to happen like that. But we continuously allow this to go on. And it's like we handcuff. It's like everybody else, if you push the buttons of the Latinos, they're gonna raise up. You push the buttons of the Asians, they'll raise up. I've seen it done. You push the buttons of the white or the black folk, we go hide in the corner. I ain't finna lose my job. I ain't finna lose my car. But yet you won't. I had a conversation with somebody today, called me about an issue. Man, we really need your help. And why y'all can't stand up for your goddamn self? Why you gotta keep calling me, man? You see what I'm saying? So when you look at our inability to stand up, it's like it's setting the table for something worse. And for those that saying, oh, it'll never happen. You sure about that? You sure they won't put us back in chains? Because we ain't got enough guns to fight them. We too busy twerking. We take all our extra money and we buy nails and hair. You ain't buying no protection. So what's going to happen if they do come?
Well, I want to address Wanda's comment. She says, not all black people, only some and a certain age group. Please clarify. No. And that's part of the problem. Not saying you specifically, Wanda, but that's part of the problem with us as black people. We want to separate ourselves. Well, I'm an exceptional Negro. They're not talking about me. They're talking about you niggas over there. And you think white supremacy sees us differently? White supremacy, so if you're an exceptional Negro, they're going to use you, to highlight as, oh, that's a credit to the race. But when this thing all goes down, it's going to be all Black people. Don't you? Okay, I'll make a separation. If we're talking in terms of slavery, you might be in the house, you might be in the field or in the yard, but we all gonna be in this thing together. And that's what we need to start doing, is start thinking as a group and stop thinking, oh, well, it's not me. I'm not in that age group. I'm not talking about that. I don't, go out and buy Jordans. No, we're talking about you, because every other race thinks in terms of a group. They don't think, well, I'm this great, Mexican, or I'm this exceptional Asian, and they're not talking about, no, they think together as a collective. We need to start thinking, and I don't want to always, or I've never tried to deal in absolutes. So of course, not all of us are thinking along those lines, but white supremacy sees Black people as a group, and we need to start seeing each other as a group. And my last point to what you said, Larry, we lost the fight when we were able to integrate with white people. That's when we stopped fighting for what we needed. We thought the ultimate prize was to live next to white people, to drink out of the same water fountain, to go to the bathroom with white people. That's when we thought, so this is the heaven we've been locked out of. This is where we finally made it. And then that generation didn't teach us overall about the fight and the hunger to keep going. We were taught, well, what else do you need? You can live in white neighborhoods now. What's the problem? I don't see the problem. And so that's why, obviously, they were killing us back then. But in 2020, when we supposedly have all these rights, it shouldn't be going on. And Malcolm X said, Black people, we can't have civil rights. They'll never give us civil rights until they see us as humans. We need human rights first. As I said the other day, they could have molded a dog. That could have been a dog in the whole world. But like those dudes that shot Ahmaud, they would have been in jail that day. It wouldn't have taken 2 or 3 months if that would have been a dog. And so we need human rights first, but we always need to think as a collective and stop thinking I'm just a sectional Negro and y'all ain't talking about me. And we're talking about all of us.
Let me say this there. Wanda O'Brien said, we are our own slave masters out there spending money on Jordans. You're right. But what about you women buying $2,000 purses and ain't got but $30 in it? What about your Gucci and your Louis Vuitton? My Nubian sisters, you already have. Why you paying $500 for some more? Don't. See, the thing is, I don't waste money. I mean, we've all done it at some level. I was a Jordan dude. Man, you can't get me spend $30 on some tennis shoes nowadays. Not gonna happen. When I woke up, it made sense to me. And I think we get into that suburban mentality where we start thinking that we better than everybody else. I want you to understand something when you're living out in the suburbs and all your neighbors are of different nationalities and you made it, Wheezy and George. The next time you walk out your door, I want you to look directly at your left arm and tell me what your skin color is. Don't matter where you live, bro. They'll view you as the same. Now, let me tell you something. I'm dealing more with the African American people in this conversation than I'm ever dealing with the white people. Because they have their own ideologies in the way that they think. That's their business. I'm talking about us. See, some of us forget on a daily that we Black. You remember you moved to the suburbs. Your ass out the projects. That's why you still barbecuing in the front yard in the suburbs, because you don't understand deed restrictions. You in the suburbs because your Section 8 look lovely, huh? Tell the reason why you're out there. Or are you out there just to make like you're something more than what you are, but you can't even put food in your icebox? But then us on the other side of town, you look down on us, but don't look down on me. because I lived in the suburbs with 4 big cars in the driveway. House looked like a model home, and I was never comfortable because I knew they didn't want me out there. So I might as well go back where I come from. I went back to where I could know my neighbors. You see what I'm saying? Where I knew everybody up and down the street. I don't want to live uncomfortably anymore. And when you do those types of things, it becomes a slave mentality. Let me put your comment up. But for the record, I live in a historical neighborhood, fighting and working to keep history and inform people about what is going on. My comment should not be taken personal. I guess that's what you meant. Like exceptional Negro label. And you don't know me or what I do. Well, you're right. I don't know you. But a hit dog gonna holler every day. Did I step on your toes? Did I get up under your skin? Because all I'm saying is the truth.
You know, that's where we're talking about thinking as a collective. If it ain't about you, let it pass on by. You know, I don't know how many of you guys were today in the Wall Street Journal and some of the other publications. They just found out that this COVID-19 is being found in the semen of survivors of it. So when we're talking about population control and slavery and stuff, as Black people, we got to start thinking about, wait a minute here, what is really going on, to where we're the most affected by this. You know, everything is because of our diet and all this other stuff that we're conducive to, but nobody's up in arms, especially our so-called leaders. I mean, I haven't heard a statement from Al Sharpton, even though he's not a leader, but you know what I'm talking about. These so-called leaders haven't made a statement in regards to what is going on and the ramifications of how it's going to apply to us. But we worried about what somebody's going to say and using my words and taking it out of context. Don't take anything that is said here as a personal attack. It's not. We're trying to think as a collective, period.
Well, we agreed to do something tonight. Wanda O'Brien, tonight is your night. Get from behind that keyboard, inbox me your email address, and pop up on this screen with us.
Or Messenger. You can send it to our Messenger.
You can send it through Messenger. Let's talk about it.
And
Or are you just a keyboard gangster? That's anybody out there. Y'all want to have this conversation? Come from behind that computer right now. Step up to the plate, because Black America needs to hear your voice right now.
And so I want to clarify something too. She says, what is an exceptional Negro? I guess she's wanting to say that. So it's actually not even my term. Dr. Claude Anderson uses the term a lot, exceptional Negroes, and that there's a special Black people. And and again, when I said this is what people need to listen. I wasn't saying you specifically. I was saying in general, when we start thinking of ourselves as individuals and not a collective, we get into trouble. But an exceptional Negro is one of those Black people who think I'm special. White people love me. Oh, they don't see me the way they see the rest of you Negroes. They just, I can get along with Negroes. I mean, white people, I can live next door to them, or they'll invite me to the golf course and all. That's an exceptional Negro. Like, y'all ain't talking to me, you talking to them. But we need to start thinking as a group. Stop thinking you ain't talking to me, because the white supremacy don't make a difference when they see us. I mean, I think my brother, is in the financial services, wear 2 or 3 piece suits all the time. I can't tell you how many times he's been spread eagle. Then no police officer say, well, that looks like an exceptional Black man. I'm going to leave him alone. They didn't make the difference. That's what an exceptional Negro is. Somebody who thinks they're better than everyone else.
Why is it that, everybody keeps saying we need to come together? Why can't we?
Because of the exceptional Negro syndrome. What do I need to come together with you Negroes for? I've got my giant house, and I got a white person on this side, I got a white person on that side. And do you see those two lovely, shiny luxury vehicles sitting there? And my kids don't go to black schools, they go to good schools, and we shop at Whole Foods with it. That's why we can't come together, because there's some black people who don't see themselves in the struggle with everybody else. That's why.
Donovan?
And I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, I'll give even a better example. When we talk about the collective, I'm out here in California. I've got my own show. I'm doing my own thing. Demetric has her own show. She's doing her own thing. Jerry been doing the damn thing. And then we've come together to get this message out and get you guys talking. And yet it's going to be sensitive. I mean, ask yourself this, is there any truth in the fact that a $16 billion hair industry that's controlled 90% by Koreans, are our sisters giving money to that industry? Absolutely. Now, we were on a thing earlier today. Okay, we don't know how long this coronavirus is going to last. Is it, ladies, is it really that important to go to the nail shop when you don't have food in the cupboard? Is it important? Just put it, remember back in the old days, just put your hair in a plait and everything is, it's all good. I mean, we'll give you a pass. I know you want to look nice, but you're not going nowhere. But that's where we spend our money, the vanity of it all. And we're just trying to tell you, hey, come September, when the government says we gave you your $1,200, what more do you want? What you going to do then? Stuff like that.
A lot of people ask me why I can't work with other groups. For me, it's a trust factor. I think a lot of these people out here supposedly working for the betterment of black people, I think you're double agents. I think you're working for the other side. So rather than, because I've been in meetings where we'd have been 6 months into something, we making progress. And then all of a sudden, here comes somebody brand new and screw it all up. See, I have a problem working with groups. I accomplish more in my community working by myself. Because I know one thing, I ain't gonna never let me down. I can't put my faith in somebody who does this part-time. You see what I'm saying? And the exceptional Negro, I can't work with him. I'm like Mike Singletary in that 49 locker room. Can't work with him. Can't do it. Because if we're in the middle of a discussion and you pull that exceptional Negro stuff with me, I swear I'll push your teeth down your throat. Because I'm that serious. It's that serious with me. And then it's always that one that just think they smarter than everybody else. Oh, I've got a PhD. I really wouldn't give a damn what Cracker Jack box you got it out of. That don't mean you smarter than me. Because if you could do everything that you say that you could do and you're so educated, then why haven't you figured out a solution? See, the Negro leaders nowadays, you know who they remind me of? Miss Cleo from back in the day. You remember you called Miss Cleo, she'll tell you your lucky number. I remember that, and I say that woman is lying. Man, why you think she lying, man? Call her. Well, if she knew my lucky number, then why she don't know hers? Why she ain't winning the lotto every week? So if you the Negro leader and you know how to fix all this, why it ain't fixed? Because realistically, you look nice in your suit with your cufflinks on and your gator shoes, but you're dumb as a bag of rocks. So the question now becomes, who's the monster? Is it the white Republican or the black Democrat?
I want to touch on a couple points. I try to catch some of you guys' comments, and I, apologize we can't get them all. But Al was speaking in regards to Christianity keeping the black church in regards to Christianity keeping black people docile, and I 100% agree. That is part of our problem. We follow a religion, and I'm not trying to bash the church, because I know a lot of times people get upset when you bash the church, but Christianity has kept us docile. Christianity has taught us as black people, wait on God. And I'm not saying you shouldn't wait on God, but God wants you to do something too, right? Christianity teaches us, I know you're going through some hell right now, brothers and sisters, but just wait. Heaven, you're going to go to heaven where you wash white as snow. You're going to be walking on the streets of gold and, milk and honey, and everything's going to be great. But it robs you of the ability to do for self. Like, you think all you need to do is sit in the pews. Yeah, faith without the works is dead and blah, blah, blah. But most churches really don't want you to take matters into your own hands, because when you do that, then that means you don't need them. You don't buy into their message of, wait on God and just pray about it. And my dad always says, he says, prayer ain't worth a damn at a Bears meeting. So if you had a meeting of the Bears and the Bears going to eat your ass, you're going to get on your knees and pray, or you're going to go grab a shotgun. And so that's where we are as black people right now. We don't have time to get on our knees. I pray, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to pray and do nothing. I'm going to pray and do something. And then someone else, Dakar, you brought up, you said, what do we think about desegregation? It has always been said and known that black people need to separate. Now, we're not talking about separate from, as far as being treated ill and bad like we used to be. Well, we need our own things, because when we had our own stuff before segregation ended, we were doing well. Now, minus the lynching and stuff, which hell, 2020 is still going on, right? We had our own everything. And so we need to separate. But I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was, said we find it hard, especially in the Western Hemisphere, to separate from, white people and everything they have. Like, we don't think we can do it on our own. And then last, somebody said, Didi, you said, we hate each other. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. We do hate each other because we have been taught, as some people say, the whole crab in the barrel mentality. There's some people watching us three right now who hate our freaking guts. You know why they hate our guts? Because we're up here. And I always say haters, they don't like you because they don't believe they can do what you're doing. And so instead of going to get their own show and speaking their mind, they rather sit and throw darts at other people. And that's not to say we think we're all that. We don't think that. But the point that I'm making is, especially us with black people, we do have self-hate because we have no knowledge of self. Because as my good friend Jonel Muhammad says, you protect what you love. And if we loved ourselves as black people, we can love each other. A lot of times we'll pass our brother and sister on the street and won't even look their way. Because somehow we think if I acknowledge them, that means they gonna think they better than me if I just say hi to them. So yeah, we hate ourselves, but we need to reverse that. And that's actually where we need to start. Stop hating ourselves and learn how to love ourselves, and all this other stuff will just fall into place.
I'm gonna say this about the church, and Donovan, you can follow me. Whatever your opinion may be. I don't really want to hear nothing from your nickel slick pastor right now. Ain't nothing he can tell. I want to know why, when Big Mama been at the church for 40 years and she died, you want to charge the family for her to have a funeral. I want to know why, when she ain't got money for tithes, you sending her a letter kicking her out the church. When the hurricanes pop off, you can't seem to come through for the community. I don't want to hear nothing from no nickel slick pastor during this time. See, they're very, very vital to keeping us calm right now. Because as soon as the protest pops off for Ahmaud, the real big one, guess who's going to be in front of the line? Might be Al Sharpton. Just might be Brother Al in front of the line. So as far as the church go, I'm going to just put it like this here now. I'm going to make some people mad because you already made them mad, Demetri. Your Bible is one of your most important things. I get it. But I don't read the Negro Slave Manual. I don't read it. I don't want nothing to do with it. Because I'm pretty sure in that Bible, it don't say that black people got to suffer for 460 years. Your church, you got a lot going on in your churches. Last week, they you had some good things going on in your church up in Houston. Last week, they found a illegal game room in one of them. We ain't gonna even talk about the pedophilia that goes on in the church. I did a show one night on my radio show. Some of y'all be selling coochie at the church. It's a lot going on at the church that ain't got nothing to do with God. While you calling God, I'm going over to the gun shop and get me another pistol. That's what I'm gonna do. So you wait on God. I'm gonna be waiting on these people to go to the back and get that extra box of bullets I need.
Amen with that. I remember that. I'm gonna have to concur with that one. But as in regards to the church, I never understood a pastor that would tell me when you're dead, you were gonna get your mansion when you get to heaven. That Mercedes you wanted, oh, when you get to heaven, it's gonna be there. If heaven is anything like this, I don't want to go. And if I made it to heaven, why would I need a mansion? I'm in heaven. It only rains when I want it to rain. So, I just think, a lot of people look at us and as a gullible people. Now, I'm going to give you guys a suggestion. I was watching last night on YouTube. Look up the history of the Congo and how those people were treated under Leopold II, I think it was, Leopold II. And I mean, it's just outrageous how they were treated. But I looked at it when I was watching. It's only like a 15-minute video. It's like a cartoon video. Just check it out. And I looked at it, and it was an exact parallel of how we are today. Docile. They're just cutting people's hands off, and we just like, oh, well, let me just keep carrying this bucket like he told me to do. And then when they finally did get their freedom under Patrice Lumumba, which they killed, a couple of weeks after they got whatever his name is came in there after the words. That reminded me of like these so-called black leaders that we have here. The blueprint is there of where we're at. But if you guys would look at that and then look at yourselves and say, you know what? We need to make a change. Look at what went on in Uganda. That's why, I tell people we are not that much different than our cousins over in Africa. They keep saying, well, the Africans don't know how to get along. Well, you got to also look at the white Democrat, the World Bank, that keeps these black countries in debt so that they will never amount to where they're supposed to be and become world powers within themselves. And they keep the infighting going.
Well, let me ask you a question.
It's all there.
Now, when we see people think when we're on here and we're talking about Democrats, they think, oh, they support the Republicans, they support Trump. I'm nonpartisan. I'm just nonpartisan. I ain't supporting nobody. Donovan, I'm gonna let you go in on it because I know Demetri gonna tear it up. You Democrats have a great friend named George Soros. Tell the people who that man is, Donovan.
George, I'm gonna let Demetri talk to that one because the sister goes in. Go ahead, girl.
Well, hello there. So George Soros is a big time, he's a billionaire rather, and he donates, or how can I say it, or gives, donates or whatever, a lot of money to Democratic establishments. He's a lobbyist, I guess, a big time lobbyist. We also know that he has given upwards of $33-ish million to Black Lives Matter. And so Malcolm X asked us this a long time ago. He says, do you ever wonder why these rich white establishments always want to be meddling in the affairs and organizations of Black people? Does it ever make you like wonder why? Do you think it's just because, oh, I have $33 million laying around, I'm not doing anything with it? No, it's because they want to have a say so and control over what you're doing. And so, and the other cat, Ed, I can't remember his last name, it slips me, but he was also a big time Democratic donor. You know what he did? He raped and murdered Black men. Donovan, you know who I'm talking about. I can't think of his last name, it slips me. But those people have a big say-so and control over what. Anytime somebody gives you money, they can tell you what to do. You become a puppet. You're not going to tell them no. That's why I don't really subscribe to the whole Black Lives Matter movement, because it's Black women and, you know, some Black men at the helm of it, but at the top, there's somebody named George Soros who's giving them a lot of money, and I'm sure he's pulling a lot of strings and telling them what to do. And I, too, am nonpartisan. I don't subscribe to either party because, as Malcolm X said, both parties treat us like political footballs. They use us for what they need, and they never, ever deliver. But specifically, he said, any Black person that votes for the liberals, you are a traitor to your race, because they are hypocrites. You know, they say one thing with Black people and they do another, and you know that. You know that, but yet you continuously go ahead and vote for Democrats. Now, how many of you guys within the last, let's say, 48 hours has had somebody tell you vote blue no matter who? Vote blue all the way down. And did any of you guys who have heard that ask those people why? And please don't tell me because we need to get rid of Trump. Other than that, why should I vote blue no matter who? Give me one good reason. Now, I'm talking about in regards to Black people. One good reason why I should do that. And does anybody hit you up yet? Anybody want to come on and, you know, and we're friendly. We're not going to bite if you want to come on.
We'll bring you on.
Yeah, he'll send you a link and you have this part of the screen here and you can say whatever it is you need to say. We'll be nice. But I think, you know, we need to get to really just start thinking about some things, you know. And I saw, I can't remember whose comment was. You just put the comment up where it says we need allies because we're only 12 to 14% of the population. True. But we also need to ask ourselves, why are we still, since the 60s, 12 to 14% of the population? Why is that? Might the Democratic Party have something to do with that? How about Planned Parenthoods? Where are those clinics disproportionately located? They're disproportionately located in our communities. Why? Because they don't want you and I to overpopulate. In addition to the Democratic Party, such as your beloved Joe Biden, make these crime bills that has incarcerated. Now, it wasn't just him. Of course, we have Reagan and Bush and all of them. But they made these crime bills, and a lot of our men and women are in prison. If you're in a prison full of men, can you procreate? If you're in a prison full of women, can you procreate? So those things add or subtract to us really being 12 to 14% of the population. Now, as far as allies are concerned, we first, and I think you made that point, I think it was Robert, we have to be an ally to ourselves. I talked about this the other day. The president of LULAC in the 1950s, he says, I'm not interested in unifying with those Negroes. Let them fight their own battles. You know, and he's just being honest. A lot of other racists feel that way about us. Like, why are we going to go help them? They can't do nothing for us. They can't even do nothing for themselves.
Now, you know what I would tell the LULAC guy? I would tell him, let's talk education. Before Thurgood Marshall filed Brown versus the Board of Education, he studied a case, Mendez versus Ecuador County. And Mr. LULAC, do you have a clue what they said about your people? They said you were dogs and pigs, and you should live in pigsties. You align yourself with the enemy. And the enemy in this day and time, really, to me, the enemy is not necessarily black or, you know, it's not a color to me. It's a social status. is rich or poor. If you know, we the poor people, so they look at us like we the enemy. They look at us like we the enemy. So yeah, some of they people over here hanging out with us. You know, and you know what they used to call them back in the day, and they still call it to y'all, but they won't do it in your face. They called you trailer park trash. And now you hanging out with the Negroes because of your social status. And see, I think that a lot of us, we can't come together because we too busy trying to help everybody else stay together. We too busy worrying about what's going on with the wall. Man, I don't give a damn about no wall. But I'm LGBTQ, but you black. So you got black issues before you got gay issues. Let's get it straight, man. They'll shoot you down in the street too. And won't care if you got your skirt or your pants on that day. So, you know, till this day, man, I'm telling y'all, you know, I mean, people just need to wake up. And sometimes your enemy lies right in your own front yard. We don't have the representation, man. These people only represent money. You know, I was reading where Trump and those people get a coronavirus test at least once a week. So you telling me the Democrats ain't getting that too? But you won't put up testing sites in our neighborhoods, huh? But you're telling us to go back out there. Why are these people not fighting for us? They already bought and paid for.
And you just hit on something that like parent. That's what I don't understand. I have neighbors that say, "Oh yeah, I have to go to work Monday. I got to go to work, you know, because they're opening up the states." And I just looked at them and I said, "Is job that important to you that you're risking yourself to be taken off this planet away from your family and your children?" He's in a dilemma right now. To me, there's no dilemma because at the end of this, a third of us are not going to be welcomed back to work anyway.
Nope.
So why? So why even bother?
Donovan, you know what's crazy? Everybody fighting to go back to work, but your business cannot fully open. They don't need the workforce. You finna be at home with them badass kids of yours, understanding what them teachers go through every day now. Ain't no workforce. Shit, I mean, why you need all them cashiers at McDonald's when you working one woman?
And then you got to think about this. Now that the shock has hit you, you still got that mortgage payment due. You still got that car payment due. But you went and got those $200 Jordans. You went and got the $79, $80 a nail shop thing going. You know, this is the stuff we got to think about. We got to wake up. This is it. This is it.
You know what I like about Council Member Eric Mays from Flint, Michigan, that's coming to the show? Eric is the type of politician that'll jump dead in the Negro face and tell him exactly what you just said. These politicians won't stand up and tell these people this. Remember, you're supposed to be a public servant, but you're so worried somebody ain't gonna vote for you. You ain't even got the balls to tell them they screwing up. But like I say, man, you folk getting rich off the backs of poor people. And we can't seem to figure the game out. Well, I have. That's why I don't mess with y'all. You keep your nickel slick pastors, your politician talking fast. I ain't got time for him either. You see what I'm saying? I love to get out into the community and do the work. You know, do the work. I love helping the youth. If we can help them, I think we'll be okay.
We'll have a chance.
Yeah, because if we don't get them up to speed, then you ain't got to worry about that church staying open. Because you ain't gonna have nobody that's gonna elevate through the youth choir and come up to be the senior deacon and all that stuff. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You're sitting back and you're not understanding, especially with education in this country, what these people are doing. And you know what? I think about stuff, Demetrius, so crazy. I say, man, why they not teaching these children how to write cursive? And one day I was at the bank, I was cashing a check, and it hit me. Well, they ain't gonna need it. They ain't gonna need to know how to sign their name because they ain't gonna never make no money. They ain't gonna have a need to sign the back of a check. They gonna be getting commissary. You build a private prison before you build a school. You build a juvenile detention center in Houston when we fighting to keep our schools open. Man, if y'all can't see the plot, let me hang out with Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. They can see it.
I would just say this. Anytime you as a parent, not saying you, Gary, I'm just saying in general, anytime you as a parent depend on the school to teach your child what they should learn at home, you are in trouble. I never, ever sent my child to school and expected them to teach her anything. Now, math is not my strong point, so I did expect them to teach her that now. But I'm talking about as far as who she is and the things that she needs to do in life, how to be financially savvy. She learned those things from listening from watching me. We know that especially the mother is the first teacher. The children are going to learn from the mother. They're going to learn from the father too, but the mother is really the circle of influence for that child. And so if you are not sitting at home with your children, teaching them about finances and, cursive and why their signature and all that is important, that's on us. My sister's a school teacher and I love her to death. But school teachers have sometimes, and Gary, I'm preaching to the choir, 20, 30, and 40 kids in the classroom.
Ain't no learning going on in that classroom.
None. So as parents, we need to get out of the frame of mind. Well, they're your responsibility. What you telling me for? When they with you, you supposed to be doing all of that. No, your child should go to school knowing all that stuff, and the school is just an enhancement of what they already know.
Let me show you how screwed up the school system is in Texas. How is it that the person that's over the Texas Education Agency, Mike Morath, you got all the final decisions on education, and your ass ain't never been in a classroom. You've never been a teacher. You've never been a principal, but you know exactly what our children need. I look at like Children's at Risk. It's an organization that grades our schools. Well, normally when they grade the schools, all the black schools get Fs. But you ain't never once took a walk inside of one of them schools. You don't know what those kids deal with on a daily basis. Go ahead.
How did he get that position?
He created the organization.
But who's
this is the guy you talking about, the TEA commissioner. He was appointed by the governor. He was a school board member in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, remember,
he been a school teacher, a principal, nothing.
Right. You got to remember, and the political system is set up for patronage. So remember Kamala Harris? She was on the medical board here in California, getting 100 Slick Willie Brown, and not Bill Clinton, the original Willie Brown, put her on a board where you had to be a doctor. She's not a doctor. She was an attorney. She was there, showed up, I think 6 times in a 2.5-year period, and collected an annual salary of $160,000 every year. That's the patronage of some of these positions that are put up. And they get away with it because we don't pay attention. We are so distracted trying to make the mortgage, trying to make the car payment. I got to get the kids the Jordans. Oh, we're going on the cruise next week. We are so distracted. By the time we find out, the money has been made and the check has been cashed.
When you look at how these people operate education, now y'all out there listening, I'm gonna put you up on game. They want your child to take these state accountability tests. But see, the white folk can figure out we ain't got to take the test. But black people keep parading their kid up in their school to take their test. Now, I want you to understand, when it's time to go to college, they don't ask you for those test scores. They ask you for a SAT or ACT. And this year, they really just waiving everything. So if you're a senior, man, this your chance to get into college, man. This your chance here, bro. You see, but how do you and it caught you off guard, Demetri. How does he make decisions on education and he's never been in a classroom? And he's the most arrogant little fuck I ever met. And I'm just being honest with you. Look just like Opie Taylor. I tell him on the real, man, this is not Mayberry, and I can't find Andy and ain't B. You don't know what you're doing, and the governor just gives him free reign to mess up everything. If I was a parent, my child would not be taking those STAR tests. These kids be having anxiety. They be about to lose it dealing with that test. And then the first thing the parent asks, well, my child's not bringing any homework home. Well, if you were a teacher and you had to go back and regrade all them damn retests, you got them living in a fantasy world in the schools nowadays where they get to take the test over 4-5 times until they pass it.
Right. Memorize the test.
You see what I'm saying? Until they pass the test, then you send them off to college where that professor gonna tell you got one shot. They're living in a false narrative. This, in a sense, by not forcing these people to educate our children, which they take our tax money for every single year, it's got you in a slave mentality.
Well, you want to hear a kick in the teeth here in California? The Cal State schools and the community colleges have a special department. It's called the Dreamers Office. Now, you guys know what the Dreamers Act is about. It's about the Hispanic. These are kids, and no fault to them, that were brought here by their parents, but at the end of the day, they're not citizens. But in that Dreamers Office, their education is paid for by our tax dollars. Their resources, that they need a laptop, they need a backpack, they need a computer, that's paid for by us. So I'm in the VOC rehab program for the Veterans Administration. So I'm looking, and I said, well, where's the Black office? You know, what about our students, like you said, that come from an environment where they were taught to take the test? Now they're in the real college situation. Where's their laptop computer? Where are they going to get the resources to compete in school? We don't even get that.
Well, they'll give them the laptops at the Black schools. But what they don't give them is the funding to put somebody in the classroom that can teach them how to use them. So all the kids do is sit on the laptop and look at Pornhub all day. Facebook, Instagram. And that's why when this pandemic popped off, a lot of Black schools, kids didn't even have laptops. Why are you issuing laptops out in the month of March? You were supposed to get that before school opened at orientation. You see what I'm saying? So we're just sitting back and we allow all this to go on. But you know what? Mr. Elected Official, especially in Houston, Texas, we've had the discussions about it. It's not like you don't know what's going on in education. But the only time you seem to see the Black elected official in education is when they're about to stick their foot in the door to take a regular school and turn it into a charter school so they can make their money. That's it. I see State Representative Harold Dutton on here. Harold has been fighting because his old school, Cashmere High School, had gone like 10 years unacceptable by state standards. That means they couldn't pass the state mandated test for 10 years. As soon as the people said we're going to take over the school district, the kids mysteriously passed the test.
I want to address something because I know a lot of school systems are failing the kids. And I mean, that's just a fact. I think at some point in time, we have to start putting the onus on the parents. You know what I'm saying? Because why aren't the parents up in arms about, said guy who has no educational background at all? Why aren't they up in arms? And I'll tell you a story. My sister, as I said, is a school teacher. And when this whole COVID thing went on, obviously they had to make sure all the kids had computers and stuff like that. Do you know, she said the school got calls every day because parents were trying to pawn the damn laptops. The pawn shop will call the school and say that we've got parents who have tried to pawn these laptops. Now, don't your child need the laptop to go to school? So I get it. People have hard times and all of that, but it's like, you can't keep blaming the school when you're complicit in the education or the miseducation of your child. Like I was, and I see a kudos to a lot of you guys on here. I see a lot of you parents who said that you were completely and totally involved in the education of your children and you taught them at home. Kudos to you. That's what you're supposed to do. But I would tell you this, I was one of those parents, I was never asleep at the wheel. For example, my daughter in 5th grade was parent back to school night or whatever it was, went thumbing through her history book. And for whatever reason, I thumbed across the part where they were supposed to be talking about slavery. And in the first paragraph, it says the slave masters were good to their slaves. They even got out there and helped them in the fields. And on Sunday, they gave them good food to eat. And I'm like, what? So I politely went up to the teacher and I told her what I saw. I said, now you and I both know that's not true. I said, please don't teach my daughter this because this is not what I've taught her. Now, if you want me to come up here and expound upon slavery, if you're going to teach slavery, I will be more than happy to do it. But don't teach my daughter and don't do a disservice to these other kids and teach them that slavery was cute. It wasn't that bad. So the point that I'm making is if you're asleep at the wheel, then you get what you're getting. But if you're awake, then you have a better educated child.
Every night I make you guys laugh. In the 11th grade, I took American history. And you don't want to know how many times I got kicked out this classroom. Because I was asking tough questions at 15 years old. Well, today we're going to learn why George Washington chopped down the cherry tree. Who give a damn? That's just what I was saying. Well, you know, today we're going to find out about, you know, why the slaves were freed. But I never could get a definitive answer. So you mean, and these are the questions I'm asking now. So you mean to tell me they were getting all that free labor and just woke up one morning and say, we're going to free the Negroes? It's something you're not telling me. Well, Abe Lincoln freed the slaves. Why? Why did he do it? Oh, you needed help in the Civil War. But I didn't learn that in school. I learned that from an old man playing dominoes with him at the YMCA across the street from the school. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. We have to do more educating at home. But you know what my coach used to tell me, and Donovan, you can have it. You can't teach somebody something you don't know.
I mean, you know, let's bring it up a little bit currently. These wars that we're fighting right now, who do you think the majority of the people that are doing all the fighting? It ain't the rich, well-off white kids. This is just a retread of what was happening in Vietnam. It's these kids. I was deployed overseas. Well, I flew airplanes too, but 16 times in a deployment status. You want to know why? Because less than 2% of the population has actually joined the military. And I'm not telling anybody to join the military, but what I'm saying is the majority of the people fighting on the ground, black folks, brown folks.
We always been in the trenches.
Always been in the trenches. And then these kids are coming back all screwed up. And then it got so bad over there, they lowered the standard and just let everybody in. We had gang members in the military and all kinds of stuff was breaking loose. But here's my point about that. Some of those young troops went over to Germany, they went to Japan or wherever they were going. Someone went to Afghanistan. They learned more over there than they did growing up here in the United States and saw what was really going on in a world perspective. And if they can do that, we need to look at what's going on right now. A lot of us are not going to be going back to work. That is a fact. We got to start thinking, well, you know what? I'm not going to be going back. Maybe we got to start teaching our kids ourselves, because the public schools ain't going to do it. We got to start thinking a totally different way now, because they're done. If you look at it as an experiment, they're saying, you know what? You guys went 3 months without any support from us. So we're going to cut that program off. We're going to be done with that program. They're already doing with the prison industrial complex. They're saying, you know what? Since y'all don't want us to make any money off of these prisons, we'll put money into the ankle bracelets and have them stay at home with you. I mean, are we ready for all that? And this is the stuff, and this is what I try to tell people right now. While you're sitting at home watching Basketball Wives or whatever you watch, just think about what's going to happen in the next six months. You have nothing else to do.
Demetra, final thoughts?
Wow. I just think, since we want to take it back to, the Democrats trying to send Black people or Black America to slavery, I would say it's a very strong possibility. And I want to address these two comments I saw. Aditi says that schools teach our children how to be working class. And I think that's very true. And it's easy to teach the children how to be working class because the parents at home are teaching them the same things. How many times have you parents told their kids, get good grades or do well so you can go get a job? How often do parents tell their kids, do well, soak in all the information you can, whether it's from me or wherever, so you can become a business owner, so you can employ people, your own people, and in group economics and all of that. So we need to start doing that at home. And then lastly, I'll address Al's comment where he says, here in Texas, you're taught everything about Jesus and shit, but hardly nothing about Black history. I've spoken to a lot of people in the South. Now I know there's a lot of it's educated Black people everywhere, so don't get me wrong, but I know that the South is heavy on religion. In California, we're kind of, but not as much as you guys are. And so I've actually talked to a lot of people who said, well, I never heard about that person. I didn't know about that. You've only heard a little bit about Malcolm X, maybe a whole lot about Martin Luther King and, the docile people. And so I would impress upon anybody who's listening, go do the research, go look up people. Like we talk about different people on here all the time. This stack of books, I'm about that life. I can't get on here and talk to y'all if I'm not reading. Because I hate to hear people just, well, I think the sky is purple and I'm telling you the sky is purple because I saw it. No, I want to be, like my dad says, it's not what you know, is what you can prove. So educate yourself. And I'll tell you one thing. These books that I've read, I've given them to my daughter and she's read them too, or she's getting ready to read them. So educate the people who are near and dear to you while you are educating yourself.
Final words, Donovan.
Ditto. All I can say is, again, everybody's excited about those two guys, murderers, being arrested. But like we said on the show last night, and what a lot of people are saying now, it's not the fact that they are arrested. They're arrested. We need to worry about getting the venue changed so that we can get justice for these people. Because if they didn't arrest them 2 months ago and they stay in the same venue, what are the chances that they're going to be convicted? So we got a long way to go from this point on.
History is a hidden jewel. I need y'all to listen to me. You can't teach a combustible generation the true history of Black America. You can't do it because you don't know how to handle them. See, this generation of youngsters are the most fearless generation you've ever laid eyes on. They're not scared of nothing. And America's biggest fear is that something will wake them up. And they'll take them guns off each other and they'll put it on them. Would you teach them their history? Would you tell them the truth? No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And I don't care what type of history it is, they seem to want to hide it from us. I'm going to leave you guys with this. You go and you watch movies on Netflix. I want you to watch Friday Night Lights. And I want you to watch the story of the 88 Dallas Carter Cowboys. They will tell you these are two of the greatest state champions in Texas high school football history. But in 1985, before that magical season with Permian, before the 88 season with Carter, it was an all-black high school out of 3rd Ward, Texas in Houston that showed up in Dallas, Texas and beat the hell out them Friday Night Light boys 37-0 for the state championship. These people were so mad, they restructured athletics in Texas schools. We can never let this happen again. We were the only all-black school to win a UIL state championship. That was it. It never happened again. Houston has never had a state champion since 1985. They changed it up. We're not letting this happen anymore. No. And I want you to think about this here, Donovan, because maybe Demetria, she don't keep up with football like me and you. You know how many Hall of Famers came from inside the loop in Houston? The Singletaries, the Dow Greens, the Dexter Manleys. You see what I'm saying? And you switched it all up because one team was able to pull it off. And you never wanted it to happen again. That's the life we live every single day. When we make progress, they treat it like a football field. And they move the goalpost on us. That's how they do with state mandated tests. When we start passing a test, they change the criteria for passing. I'm not saying I don't like white people. I don't like black people 98% of the time. But some of y'all just evil. Slave masters, to me, are the black elected officials who watch all of this go on and don't do anything about it. Yes, ma'am.
I know you're about to press the music, but I want to just really quick piggyback on what you said about not liking white people. It's not about us not liking white people. It's about us loving ourselves. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, think about it this way in regards to white people and black people and equality. It's the white people are essentially, let's get back in the day, said they are slave masters. And to a degree, they think they are still. Why on earth would they teach you and give you equality? If they were to give us as black people equality, guess what happens? We're equal. They're no longer our slave master. We are now equal. Okay, equality means that we get equal money, equal land, equal education. It's not just about, okay, we're going to move the line and so you can mix. Equality is about every social, financial, and politics. Right? So it's not about hating white people. It's about loving us as black people. Oh, and one more thing. I haven't watched football since they screwed Kaepernick. I am true to this. My man is a diehard Texans. He's invited me to many games, and I've had to decline.
I can't trust somebody that won't educate me. If you won't educate me, you can't elevate me. I can't trust, and that's just me. I can't trust the oppressor. I can't. You've shown me where your heart is. And that takes me right back to the current election. Joe, you've already shown me who you truly are, Mr. Biden. Therefore, I will never trust you, big homie. When you start fighting to open them prison doors, we can have a discussion. Say, man, this is how we get on, man. Tonight, just on our mind. I want to thank my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, Demetri K. And tomorrow night, we got a legend coming in the building, man. Former parade All-American. Two-time collegiate All-American at the University of Texas. Drafted by the Tennessee Titans. My man Vince Young will be in the war zone tomorrow night. USC, buckle up. Don't forget. All right, y'all. We'll holler at y'all tomorrow. I'm the 5-star general, baby.